You probably recognize this as the Vorsk VMP. I think this might be the C model, I don't know. I had it from my local shop cheaper because they said there was a problem with them, and apparently they told me that apparently there was a crack somewhere on the back. I can't find it. I didn't see any issues with that, so I don't think that's what it is. It works fine, it shoots perfectly, it's good power, good rate of fire, everything seems to work fine. But the problem that I'm having with it seems like an inherent design flaw. And it's to do with this piece here on the back. It's to do with the recoil spring guide here. I can get that focus on that. There we go. To do with this piece here. And it protrudes. You can see it protrudes at the back. It seems to protrude more than it needs to. Now inside, it's sort of, where it fits inside, it sort of locates on a wider portion, on a larger diameter portion. And that's got a very small engagement distance, very short engagement distance. So when you push this rear pin in enough to be able to strip the gun down, the spring guide pops out of its mount. And I'll show you what I mean. And it seems like over time what's going to happen is it's just going to keep doing that and then bending your recoil spring. And eventually your recoil spring is going to break. So you have to strip these down by first taking out this screw here. Get him to focus. It's in there. Yeah. So now you've got to push this in, sort of like an AK. Make sure he's focused for you. So you push him in just enough. I'm going to make by hand first. There we are. And then you lift. There we go. He's starting to lift now. So at the moment, I can't do anything with him now because he's in there. I can't hold him down or do anything with that because it's trapped inside the gun. And it always seems to be the case that, watch now. Ah, see? See all of that shit going on over there? Sorry, I shouldn't swear. That's the problem. And here's the engagement surface that I'm talking about. Get him into there to locate. So really, that should stay in place like the AK does. Now, yeah, you can see what I'm talking about now. Have a look there. Look at this engagement area surface here. That's it. That little shoulder right there is the only thing stopping this from popping out. And you can see there's a lot of room behind it. Well, not a lot, but there's more room behind it. And ideally, I want to shorten this here and lengthen this here so that when you push this pin to strip this gun down, this doesn't go flying out and putting a massive kink in your spring and potentially damaging it. Whoops, focus is gone again. Thank you. So that's the general idea. Now I don't want to like modify this one because I want to have something to compare it to once I've done the mod. So I'm going to be making my own one from scratch. I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to do that just yet. I've got a couple of ideas in mind. Now, my lathe is not very good, so turning between centers isn't really an option. It's not really it's a bit small anyway. You could make something like this by turning between centers, and it is shorter than I thought, actually. I thought it was longer than that, but I haven't cracked this open in a while. But I'm thinking to make it in two parts. I'm going to make a narrow portion here and then make this wider portion separate and then attach them together with 603 green Loctite, which is very flipping strong stuff. So that should do it. But we'll see how that goes because I haven't checked all the diameters. I'll have to measure it up. But I'll be back again after I've done some measurement with some calipers. I want to measure how much distance I have before that little shoulder there on the plastic. So let's check. I got to kind of work around the camera here a minute. Right, so that's about 3.68 mil. So let's call it 3.5 mil, and that means that the maximum length this rear portion here can be is 3.5 mil. Before it starts to bump into this shoulder here with the plastic. Now, that's what I'm going to start with, and if that turns out to not be long enough, I'll look into shaving off the plastic either side here to make more space. But hopefully through a combination of making this section a little longer, that little shoulder there, right next to my thumbnail, and then making this shorter at the back, the combination of the two should overall solve the problem. So I'll draw up a little mock-up. I'll draw one picture that shows these current dimensions, and then another picture that shows how I plan to change them, and I'll be right back. So the only dimension you really need to look at here is this one I've circled here, which is that shoulder. You can barely see it, so I've had to sort of magnify that to be able to have enough room to write the measurement. It's just about 1.6 mil. That's all of it. That's all that little tiny shoulder is right there. That's what's holding into the gun when you pop that pin. So that's that one right there. That's been increased now. It's going to be increased to 3.5 mil. And the rear portion here, that's where the button sticks out the back of the gun, that's going to be reduced from what it is now, 9 mil, down to 7. That may be adjusted further. I'm just going to start with 7 and see how it goes. It's just prototyping at the moment, but every other dimension is exactly the same. Yeah, so that's it anyway. The bottom one is what we're going to try first, and if that doesn't work, then I'll have to make another one where this portion is longer, and like I said, we cut material. Let me focus it on that. The sun is getting a bit harsh out here at the moment. Cut this material, widen this notch back here essentially in the plastic. But to begin with, I'm going to make it so it's just a drop-in part. Right, that's the plan. Oops, focus. There we go. That's the plan. And next time, the next clip you'll see is me on the lathe. So let's give it a go. I think I'll be okay. Okay, I'm gonna make these features now. Here we go. So what I've done here is I've turned it to the major diameter, which is this, and I've center drilled it to 3 mil, I think that was. As long as it's smaller than this, that's fine. Now I'm going to make these features here. So I'm going to do that all with the parting tool. It's going to plunge it in, plunge it in, plunge it in, and then plunge it in further here. And then we'll be on to making this portion, and then that's going to be where they sort of connect together with that little turned down section. Okay. Something I did forget to mention before whoops, come on, focus, thank you. Before I started making this cut is the diameter of this shoulder right here. The diameter is about 7.9 mil. You'll have to take my word for it that I know what I'm doing here, okay? I know I'm forgetting to mention things, but yeah, we'll get there in the end, you'll see. Yeah, so far so good. We're getting there slowly. Yeah, I'll probably turn up the other bit off camera because it's just taking something that's about 6 mil in diameter, turning a 3 mil like post on the end of it, and then just Loctiting the two together. So once I've done that, I'll bring it in front of the camera and we'll have a look at that. Okay, it looks terrible because it's the only piece of stock that I had available. It's not even stock, it's just a piece of an old cupboard. It's got a flat on one side, but you know, for the purposes of just demonstrating the prototype and working stuff out, it'll be fine. I don't plan to use it in there very long. Right, yes, so 2 parts, there we are, and I've got the original one here to compare it to. Hang on. So that's the general idea there. Now I thought I'd made that shorter, but that's okay because I can, file it down, turn it to size as I need it. So anyway, here's what we're going to use. That will hold it together really flipping well. That's good stuff. And yeah, both parts have been degreased. So let's get that out of the way and glue them together. You don't need much. There you go, that'll grab in a minute and you ain't getting those things apart again. As long as it glues ferrous and non-ferrous together. I don't know if it does actually, come to think of it. I think the only thing it needs to cure is just it's an anaerobic adhesive, so it should just grab no matter what's there. Yeah, that started grabbing. Okay, I want to touch that for a minute. That's had some time to grab now, and I don't want to put too much force in it, but you can see that I can pull on that pretty good, and he ain't going nowhere. It's only been about 10 minutes. So it's the same length. I thought I'd made it shorter, apparently I haven't. So that's going to be reduced down in length until this disengages from the top cover before this disengages from the lug on the gun. So I'll just crack on with that bit and I'll be right back. Okay, time for a test fit. Yeah, that pops in as normal. You can see how much more that piece engages now. Got that much more travel before it wants to pop out. Let's flick him on. Push that in until he can fit down. And then, there you go. Now he's popped through. Might have to really... Now, I can promise you I'm not pushing it in any further than it needs to go. There you go, until it starts to slip there. Let's see. I don't think it has worked this time. We'll see now. No, you can see he's lifting there. So we didn't quite get it this time. But all I've got to do is we can see that we've got plenty of material that we can play with here taking off. So I'm going to take off about that much. See, what was that, about 1 mil, 2 mil? And then try again. There we are, same deal as before. It's a bit shorter now. I have the other one in my pocket, which I probably, yes, here it is, on the table. There, you can see the difference in length there. Let's see if that helps. Same as before, reassemble. There we are. Ow, pinched my finger in there. Pop that on. Is he not going through? Let's try pulling the charging handle. There he is. So that's protruding a lot less. It's safe direction and no mag and anything, so I'll pull that trigger. Right. Moment of truth. Off comes the cover. Ah, see? Stayed where it's supposed to. That's the idea. Let's try a couple more times. Yeah. Okay. That's it all the way back. And the gun's assembled. And then, I mean, I'm not putting the front screw in, but you always take that out before you do this step anyway. So pop it in until it lifts. Yeah, off comes the cover. And it stays put. That's it. We're done. So whatever these dimensions are now, essentially that's what we're going for. I mean, obviously made from better material. But I'll do some tests and some firing tests. I'll probably put them on camera too, but I won't do it this evening. It's a bit late now. And yeah, you'll see that it still works perfectly fine. Well, it should do. I don't know yet, but I see no reason why not. And that's the difference. You can see it's such a slight difference, but the change that it makes is massive. There we are. Thanks so much, guys. Yeah, I'll leave you with the shooting test.